We're back with Hattie Wellington, 84-year-old Hattie Wellington, who has an upcoming book release entitled Stokestown, Sharecropper, Mother of 12, recent cancer survivor. As you can see, she has on a graduation cap there, to God be the glory. But we want to ask her about this recent uprising, which we look at to be a mass protest against police brutality in this country. You raised 4 sons, or actually you raised 5, including your grandson. Tell us about an encounter that sticks out in your mind that you would refer to or relate as police brutality where your sons were concerned. Just take your time if you wanna, if something can come up in your mind.
Well, I have a couple of incidents.
Okay.
Well, one is Medbury Fire. My second son was in
I might need you to speak a little louder.
my second son was in the Air Force, and he was in some parts of Florida. And a white lady had got raped, and the police just he was getting ready to get on the plane, and the police took him off. Yeah, and took him to the hotel room, and I think they were going to beat him up. And he told me, he said, I'm just coming from my captain's house. I had dinner with my captain, and you can call him. So they called the captain, so they let him go.
Wow, this was in the 70s, I'm assuming. Probably around in the 70s?
Yeah.
Now, can you give me another example?
One night, me and the girl was sitting outside of the apartment, because it was in the summertime. We wanted to sit outside and get some fresh air, and so.
And where was this? What state?
Virginia. And we had Wallin Tommy with my 2 oldest sons. Said they would go get the food. I think I'm gonna get it from what name of that place?
Santula's.
Cook food. No, they wanted the flavor Louis used to go to that bank.
Okay.
Restaurant. But anyway, before they could haul the girl across the street, 2 policemen approached them and said they looked like the 2 men that just raped this white lady. And so they said, take me back to my mother's house. Well, they had just left from the house. They was across the street, and I was wondering what was going on. So they came up and they asked me, these your son? I said, yes, tell what the problem. And we had they looked like 2 men. They looked like the 2 guys that the girl gave this description of that had raped her. I said, my son, I said, she told a lie, cause my son just leaving the house. I said, and you arrested me because they're black. You taking a lie called black. I said, turn my son to loose. I did tell him, I said, turn my son to loose. They ain't going no jail because they ain't done nothing.
Amen. So there you have it. Now, thank you for that, for sharing that. And also, I was thinking from the perspective of the philosophical notion and idea that what we are experiencing in America now with the rash, it's not even a rash, it's been going on all the time, but with the exposure of the police brutality against African American males, even though we believe that it's systemic in nature, Ms. Bookhart, how deeply do you think that this particular issue goes, and where do you think that we can go from here with this issue?
Listen, until we completely tackle the psychological underpinning of the black man identity, which is a fragmented identity, connected to the notion of his identity being stripped from him, and in the name of the Father, which would be the white man, taking on his identity, which in perpetuity for generations to come would be still fragmented. destroying the community, destroying his position in the family, even though it was a patriarchal position. You do not expect a community to come together as a community that have been torn asunder in slavery. That is the underpinning. No legislation can heal that. No law can correct that. There must be an ontological change. That is one of being. That is one of identity. That is one of community. That is one of repairing, reparation, healing that must occur.
And it must occur, you were saying, within the black race itself, or as a human race.
As a human race.
Okay, I got that.
That one would admit, first of all, that history was defiled. And that history continues to be defiled. History is an enemy of the black man. Because the only history we really could continue to be attached to in the history books is that of slavery. Right? And that psychological history continues to drag itself into our communities, drag itself into our dichotomies, drag itself into our discourse, drag itself into our conversation.
Thank you so very much, and that's an interesting perspective there on a philosophical standpoint. Thank you so very much, Professor Bookhart. Okay, let me just move this conversation over to Frances Wellington, also known as Celebrity Mama Hollywood, which is the casting of a new reality show out of Atlanta. Now, you raised sons, and in particular, I say son because, you know, in addition to your own son, you raised another child, another son. Give me an example, or if not even an example, give me your expression of what you believe it means to have a black son raised amidst a community that looked for ways to villainize, if you will, demonize the African American boys. Have you seen that, or have you ever seen that with raising your sons?
Well, yes. So first of all, I just would like to make correction for the camera that even though I will end up in Hollywood, we will end up in Hollywood, but that will be Mama Holiday.
Okay.
But
what did I say?
Mama Hollywood, but that's fine.
Oh, that's prophetic.
Yeah, it's powerful. But I've seen it many times with raising my son, especially after the death of his father in the early 90s on up to 2000, but you know, the middle 2000. But I saw this really that I will never forget about how the well, we might as well call it what it is. The white policemen are threatened by the black kids, the black youths, because I had an incident with my son one night. Again, going back to the light skin and the dark, the house and the field. So one thing they're better than the other. But what my point I'm making is, but the policemen don't care, because it was an incident I had one night in my house where 60 black young men came to my house to, I'm gonna say, had intention to kill my sons. And so I called the policemen. They never showed up, and I believe they never showed up because I've seen it too many times, because they're just another bunch of black kids. We just can wipe them out all at one time, so we're not going over there. And they did not come because they were black kids, and it's supposed to have been also a gang, but my son was never in a gang. So they are threatened. They've been threatened as long as I know, because they find any little thing, just whatever, just walking, driving because you got something on your head, driving in a new car, you not bothering anybody. So they're very threatened by the black race, period. And if, like I said before, if they stand up, come together as one, the police brutality, the white policemen, I'm just gonna call it like it is, killing our black boys, and I know they kill other people too, they wouldn't have a chance. So I've seen it a lot. They're very threatened. They're very, very threatened by our race, period. And if everybody come together, they wouldn't stand a chance, because it would be too powerful. And that's the truth.
All right, man. Good point. Let me go around the room now. Let me poll, because you brought up Professor brought up something I thought was very powerful. regarding some of the problem being rooted in identity. And there has to be a healing of identity. How much do you think identity contributes to the kind of thing that we see stemming from the African American community, where they're saying that, well, the black people are killing each other, and the black men are killing up the young boys? And
I used the word dichotomy earlier, which is this duality,
right,
this bipolarism.
Okay.
I was referring to Du Bois' double consciousness.